Hello everybody!
Hey guys!
Hello!
Hello! So today we are shooting our first Q&A and we are really excited because there were so many good questions coming in. We asked you guys on Instagram, Facebook and YouTube and you send us so many. So hopefully we can answer as many as we can. So let's dig in.
Can I say something? And before we start this video, hit that subscribe button, turn on all that notification.
Let's start. Jason. So we have first question, and this question comes from the L axis. My husband and I traveled for 6 months and are now back in the US expecting our first baby. What would you say is the most challenging part about traveling long term with kids?
Everything.
Yeah.
Me and Jason, we are already on a different level of traveling, and the kids, they want to live the life with their friends, they want to have dogs and they want to have a house. So I would say that probably if you really ask the kids if this is something that they really want to do, I bet you that all the kids would probably say no, we don't really want to do this, we would rather stay home. They don't realize yet how much it's going to affect their future, how much experience they are gaining.
Kids are small and they have shorter attention spans and they have much more fast-paced schedules. The reality of it is they just want to go and play, but yet you have an itinerary and you have a schedule and you have a plan. And kids and plans and schedules and itineraries don't really match so well. Mm-hmm. So I'd say that's probably the hardest thing. Wouldn't you guys agree, right? Some days they just get long, don't they?
Mm-hmm. It gets boring. And there's no Wi-Fi.
So yes, traveling with kids can be definitely challenging. I know that we make it look very easy. Maybe one day we will do the unedited version and you will see the real truth.
Yeah, we'll share the outtakes.
Question number 2 is from Carl Z. What's your favorite food in the world? Do you want to start, Mia?
That's a good one.
Street soup in Bangkok.
This girl knows what's good.
That's good.
And you?
Alex?
My favorite food is sushi.
Yeah,
absolutely.
This kid is obsessed with sushi.
And yours?
No, yours.
No, yours.
No, yours. I have to think about it.
I guess she's not prepared for these questions.
Not so much.
Easily, without a doubt, although we weren't able to do it on these travels so far because China was closed. Go to Shanghai, get xiaolongbaos, these little tiny dumpling things that are, you bite them and they steamy and they're hot and they're juicy and meaty. And I'm telling you, on a scale of 1 to 10, there are 20. And there was a time actually when Anthony Bourdain was making an episode and he spoke right to my heart with these words where he said that xiaolongbaos are so good, they might be worth just the plane ticket alone to go to Shanghai. And I couldn't agree more.
For me, the food I love the most is probably Lebanese food. I love it. It can be any Middle Eastern food, actually, I love the most. And then I'm so sad we haven't made it to Mexico yet because Mexican food is definitely number 2. And we love it. I think the whole family, we are obsessed with Mexican food. So yes, these two, Mexican and Lebanese.
Tacos. Andrea L.
Okay, what's the question?
What is possible your favorite city to someday live in? Why?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Bangkok.
Well, this has changed over the years, I would say.
Bangkok.
Ooh.
And you?
I would want to live in Prague.
In Prague, okay. And you, Daddy?
I mean, it fluctuates, but I'll go for now with Lisbon. Just because I like the weather, I like the food, it's inexpensive, and it's really beautiful.
And if I could pick one place in the world, I would probably try to live in Koh Samui. I know it's not the city, but the island of Koh Samui would be probably my first choice. I fell in love with that place, and since we are Thailand lovers,
Wow.
There's no better place than Thailand, really.
Wow, you Thailand fans out there, you hear that? We have 2 people voting for Thailand.
Yep. Next question is from Neoren. I love following your travels. Are the kids homeschooled while you travel, and how long are you planning to travel? This question we got a lot. People are asking, we have so many, how long we are planning to travel, but we will get to it. We will answer the first part now, and it's about the homeschooling. Yes, the kids are homeschooled. They have regular school from Monday to Friday, and they are kind of in a flexible program. So if they don't want to study Monday, Tuesday, if we have to travel, they can actually finish it on Saturday, Sunday. So this is a really great program. and the kids are doing so great with the homeschooling, and we are so proud of them. What do you like the most about homeschooling?
I can lie down and I can do the school anytime.
So the school the kids are in is based on American curriculum, so they basically study the same things they would be studying in the US. And it's awesome because they have online teachers in case they need help, but mostly Jason and I are working with the kids during the day if they need help. Alex basically studies by himself now. He is doing so well, and Mia needs a little bit of help, but she's getting there as well. So this program works for us really well. We were a little worried about how the homeschooling is gonna go, but there are so many options out there. So if you guys want us to talk about it in the future videos, let us know, and we will be so happy to help you.
Yeah, at first the transition from going to the, I guess, I don't know, we'd call it in-building or on-site schools versus homeschooling or privates or virtual schooling, it was a tough transition at first. The kids were lost. They're like, well, what do you mean I have to do this? And I have to do my own schedule, and I have to find my own works and my own courses that I have to complete. But after about a month, they got into it. They do most of it on their own now. They get straight A's. And this program's a lot harder than the regular school. I mean, the work that they do always feels like it's a couple grades level higher than what they would get in the normal school. So in a way, it's kind of a win-win. I mean, you guys, would you say that the virtual school has been harder than the regular school?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's really hard.
But you guys get good grades now, right?
Yeah. It's easy now for me.
Easy?
Yeah. But when it comes to language arts, no.
Next question is from Master B. He's asking, did you all ever feel homesick during your 2-year travel journey?
Ooh, no.
Liar.
So have you ever felt homesick when you travel?
Nah, only car sick.
Alicia's car.
On the Balkan road trip.
And on the Balkan road trip? Yeah, Mia suffers unfortunately from motion sickness, so the Balkan road trip was not the best,
That was
right?
tough. Well, to be fair, we were in the car a lot, so fair enough.
Yes.
And you?
For me, if I'm being honest, not really, because when you're a full-time traveler, you are living such a adventurous life. You are always experiencing either highest highs or the lowest lows, and you cannot really process everything what's going on in once. So you're always on the go, always doing something, always thinking what's going to be next, and you really don't have time to feel really homesick. I think that for me, I didn't feel homesick, but I missed people. I missed my family, my friends. We really wanted to experience it with them. When we were in some awesome place, we just wished that they could be there with us. So yeah, we missed the people, but being really homesick, it didn't really happen.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably less of missing home, but really more just missing friends and family, because you start to feel a little lonely. I mean, you're on the other side of the planet, you don't know anyone, and for a long periods of time, it's just us four. I mean, I can't even imagine some of the travelers who travel solo. It's got to be really difficult.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful that we even have the four of us when we travel.
That is true. It's a really lonely lifestyle. Okay. Next question is from our friend Katerina Denning. Did you count how many miles or kilometers you traveled? And I mean all of it, from start on the ground, air, water. How many it would be? Also, how many flights did you take and how many boat rides? I like travel numbers. Thank you very much, Katka, because we took the time and we counted all the miles that we traveled. And Jason did a good job. How many, Jason?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm thanking Katka for this one, because it created me probably an hour's worth of work. I was going through our travel itinerary, which is on the front side and back side, and it was a lot. I mean, it was more than I had thought. To be very candid, I think it was almost probably double what I thought. So like they say, it's about 24,000 miles to travel around the planet. And yet, after going through everything, I came to 49,123 miles, or 79,055 kilometers, which is equivalent to going around the Earth 2 times.
Wow,
Now,
that's a lot.
I have a couple disclaimers though. I didn't include in that cars by ferry, because I didn't know if I should put it in the boat category or the car category, so I left that out. And I didn't also include travel by Huskies because...
Are you breaking the rules here and revealing what's going to happen in next vlog?
Well, there'll be a few extra miles done by Huskies, you'll see.
How many flights did we have? We had total of 33 flights.
34.
34 flights so far. So
Yeah.
there you have it.
We had 34 flights. We drove a lot. We had more than 10 to 12 rental cars. We took about 10 trains, and I didn't even count how many boats, but it was a lot of boats in the process. So to surmise though, yeah, it was a lot of travel, and it was via a lot of different forms of transportation, and some of it was quite challenging to do during the pandemic because half of it wasn't even operational at that time.
Yeah, I think that actually there would be more flights if the pandemic wasn't going on. We would be able to travel even more. But I think in 18 months, 34 flights, that's still a lot. So next we have a set of questions from one of our favorite YouTubers out there, Will and Jose Travels. We love these guys so much, and thank you for submitting so many questions and such good questions as well. And we will leave the link to their channel down below, and please go watch them, subscribe to them because they are amazing. We love them, one of the kindest people on YouTube, and one day we cannot wait to meet you guys because you are just awesome. So a little shout out to Will and Jose Travels.
Another reason to go to Thailand.
That's right. Let's start with questions from Will and Jose. How do you and Jason find times for yourselves when you are traveling with the kids year round?
For ourselves?
Yes.
We don't.
We don't.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah, we are a little bit guilty of this. We are really not taking the time for our relationship, but I think that we were always like this because we are really tight as a family and we really want to spend all the time together. I know that for somebody out there, it's like, no, I could never do this, but I mean, obviously we would like to go to get to get wine and just spend the evening together, but the kids are not old enough to be really home alone in a different country. We would not probably feel comfortable leaving them somewhere alone, so we just have to skip that, and we just put the kids down, we go on the balcony. Actually, that's what we do. We go on the terrace, a balcony or somewhere and just spend the evening together, watch TV or just have a glass of wine. That's what we do. But if we don't really go out, just me and you. Anybody wants to come and babysit these kids, please let us know. We will take you and we can finally spend some time together. Question number 2 from Will and Jose. What are your bucket list destinations? I love this one. Who wants to go first?
I would like to go to Korea, Japan, and Antarctica.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I want to see Milky Way.
Oh, I want to see Milky Way. That's really cute. What about you, Alex?
China, Japan, and Korea.
So all three next to each other.
Yeah.
We could bash that on one trip.
Wish they were open. Open up. Open up.
Unfortunately, we're waiting on those.
Yes. What about you?
You go.
You go.
Ladies first.
So just like Mia, I would love to go to Antarctica, Japan, and Pakistan.
I'm not too far off from you.
Interesting.
Japan, for sure. That's on my list. For sure, Antarctica also. But where I differ from Lenka and Mia, it would be Everest Base Camp.
Ooh. Next question is for the kids. Can you share with us what traveling the world has meant for you both? Not many kids can say they have experienced so many cultures and tried different types of ice cream.
It was special for me because I finally got to experience cultures that I never knew that was in this world.
Oh, that's so sweet.
That's nice, eh? We didn't script that.
I like trying new foods.
Yeah, me too.
Is there any ice cream, guys, you like the most in any country?
No.
No? You?
I like all ice cream.
That's a good answer. Okay, question number 4. What has been the hardest part about traveling as a family? Ooh, should we open the can of worms?
No, should we spill the beans?
It's just the work, honestly. It's just the work. I mean, you have the schedule of trying to juggle real life with travel, and that's hard. I mean, there's a lot of times when we're working 7 days a week and there's no time off because between school and just health and shopping and just simple things like groceries to then trying to figure out our itinerary, doing shoot days, editing the vlogs, then also planning on where we're going next and having to figure out that whole next itinerary.
Plus you have still your own job.
Yeah, and then not to mention normal work. It's just a lot of work, and I think that's probably the hardest part is really that, you know, you have to take care of them and we have to take care of ourselves and then we have to take care of you guys.
it's a lot to be together 24/7. You know, you start to get irritated by the smallest things. I mean, I'm being completely honest here. Anybody who is together for so much, you know, gets annoyed a little bit after a while. But, you know, I think we were doing pretty well considering that we spent so much time. I mean, we've been literally together now for 2 years in a row. Last question from Will and Jose is, how long do you all plan to travel? Is this an ongoing pursuit of living abroad, or do you have plans to go back to the States? We got so many questions about our plans. Let's leave it to the end of the video. Next question is from Noel Bergmans. How many countries have you been to on this adventure of yours, and how long have you been traveling so far?
Well, on this trip.
On this trip, yes.
On this trip, it was how many countries?
33?
I
Yes.
think so. About.
Yes, 33 countries so far and counting. And how long we've been traveling? It's been over 18 months now. I think it was a little bit more difficult because of the pandemic. We couldn't travel as much as we probably would want to, but at the same time, we spent more time in countries that we would probably spend to, which is amazing because longer you stay in the country, more you're gonna get to know the culture. So we are actually really grateful that we had a chance to spend a little longer than we originally planned to, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say for sure that the pandemic definitely, it's sometimes made us travel slower just because between all of the requirements and the tests and other documentation sometimes that was required, quarantine hotels possibly, you just get tired of doing it and you're just thinking, okay, I don't want to go to a country just for 4 or 5 days if I have to go through all that. So you end up finding ways of just extending stays in certain places before you hop on. So
yeah. Next question is from Agatha Gordon. How did you pick out your destinations, and how do you plan the financial part ahead? Meaning, for a normal person, how much would you suggest to save minimum? Okay, so how did we pick out the destination? We actually did not pick any destinations. I think COVID picked that destination for us because we literally went to places that were just opened. And every time we saw the country being open, we literally bought the tickets and went there.
yeah, I mean, she's right. We didn't necessarily pick. And actually, there was a time where I felt like, and I said this to some of our friends and family, I felt like we were just riding a wave, meaning that we were in places and we could feel the restrictions starting to come in and they were about to get in lockdown and those places were starting to push us out. And as we were getting pushed out of those places, other places would be like, oh, we just opened up with no restrictions and come visit our country. So we said, okay, well, let's go there. So literally we rode the pandemic wave of places closing versus places opening up. And if you actually see our schedule and what we did in our itinerary, you could actually look back in history and see, oh yeah, that's how countries were sometimes opening and closing their doors. I mean, we didn't know at the time. Remember, at that time, we had no idea how long it was going to last. We didn't know if we would be put into lockdowns. We didn't know if we would be banned from traveling. We didn't know if we would get stuck in places. Mm-hmm. So it was always a little bit edgy for us. And that's why we had to operate as such. You want to do the financial question or no?
Well, actually, I want to say, for example, when Sri Lanka came in, and how actually we picked up Sri Lanka. We are at the airport in Cape Town, and we are flying to Dubai, and they tell us that we cannot actually arrive. We cannot fly to Dubai without an exit ticket. So we had to, on the spot at the airport, had to figure out where are we going to fly next from Dubai. Keep it in perspective. We were staying in Dubai for a month, and in 1 month, everything could change during the pandemic, and we were not sure if actually, the country's going to be open or not. And we found great tickets online for Sri Lanka. So we are like, okay, we are going to Sri Lanka, just like that. So, we had to be literally really creative on a spot, and it was very difficult. But at the end, it got us to amazing places, and we are very, very happy about it. And now we're going to answer the question about finances. We've received so many questions about budget, how much you have to save, how much you spend, anything about finances. So you talk about it.
Sure. I mean, it obviously depends. First of all, if you're traveling solo, then obviously you wouldn't expect it. It'd be the same cost as a family of 4 because you need more beds, you need larger places, you have more tickets, more food. So that's an obvious point to make. So I think if you were just maybe 2 people and you were traveling, you may be able to go as cheap as maybe a few thousand a month. I think if you're looking at really inexpensive places, cheap discount air flights and tickets, not doing a ton of activities because activities can be really expensive. But at the same time, as we've seen, some of the other locations we went to, which were quite expensive, for instance, like Dubai and even actually Cape Town in the winter time, which is their summer at Christmas, really expensive. And easily, if you start talking about renting a place that's larger than a hotel room, maybe you want to rent an apartment because you're there for a month, and then you have your tickets, and maybe you want to do some activities like scuba diving or diving with whale sharks, or maybe you want to go paragliding, then all of a sudden, you can easily inflate budgets for a family of 4 all the way up to as much as $10,000 a month, which becomes really unaffordable for most people. I think the key obviously is first of all just how many people there are, and then really how many activities that you're doing, and then where you're staying. But I'd say that on the very bottom end, if $3,000 a month is too much, it's probably just really unrealistic. Unfortunately, it just is.
Well, it depends where you are staying. If you are in Southeast Asia, I think for families it's a little bit cheaper. But if you go to, if you are in Europe, then $3,000 a month is not really gonna get you. Well, it depends again where in Europe you are. In Paris, it's not gonna get you anywhere. But yeah, it really depends where you are. Where you are coming from. It's all these factors all together. But you would say probably 4,000 for family.
I mean, personally, I would suggest it because here's the point. I think it's one thing to travel and to go see new cultures and to try new foods. But if you can't even afford new foods, unfortunately, and that's a realistic thing. So obviously, if you're in Southeast Asia, the best food in the world is on the streets. I mean, I'm all for it, $1 a meal. But some foods will be sometimes expensive, but even some of the activities. I mean, if you're in certain places, you're going to want to do activities, and they can become expensive. So I think you want to budget for the fact that, hey, maybe we should allocate a few $100s a month for just some types of activities that you're going to want to do, whether it's even just simple things like museums. So I would put that in the budget if I'm planning on it. I think it could be, it depends, like I said, it depends where. It could be 4 to 6 per family, depending upon 4 to 6,000 US, depending upon what location you actually are going to.
So we met so many couples who are traveling the world, so many families, and some families, they just go and they live off their savings, which for us, I think it would be really hard. I would not feel very comfortable just to live off our savings. So I'm really grateful that Jason has a job on the side. I have my little business also on the side.
If you think you really are going to travel, like let's say around the world 1 year nonstop, you could find some kind of online job to help compensate for that. And I would recommend that because, I mean, unless you're going to be literally traveling every single day and sightseeing, which will get tiring, at times it's okay to just be a normal human being and work a little bit and be productive, and then you can bring in some supplemental income. Maybe you can find something that's online like we do, then all of a sudden now you don't have to worry about the savings as much and feeling like that the money is as big of a factor if you have income still coming in. And
also if you are planning on traveling the world, you can also stay in the country a little bit longer, so you don't have to buy constantly new tickets, and also rent place for a month or longer, because if you are doing these rates for a month, you will get cheaper rates. So it's a little bit better than changing places every 2-3 nights. So these are the things, these are the tips we would tell you about traveling the world. Hope that helped. So Kate asked, what has been your favorite place so far on this trip?
Finland.
Finland. Why? Because of Santa?
Yeah.
Santa Claus's village. Okay.
Okay, for me, a place that surprised me the most, and I fell in love with that place so much, Cape Town. I'm in love with Cape Town so much. I love everything about it. I miss the food the most. And it's just the energy there. It's so different than from everything I experienced ever before. And I cannot wait to go back.
I already know. This is the easiest question for me.
Okay.
My favorite country so far in this travel is Koh Samui.
Koh Samui! Oh, I know. Koh Samui is amazing.
Yeah, it is. I'm sure there's probably some of you out there that are watching that have been there, and you know how awesome it is. Koh Samui is great. Mine, I can't say, because it'll be in next week's vlog that's coming out, and all I'm going to say is it's one of the coolest places on the planet. But we can't reveal it right now, so you'll have to stay tuned for next week's episode.
Okay, next question is from Family of Dashes. What do you do for insurance? And I'm guessing that's the travel/health insurance. So we are using the Nomad insurance from Safe Doing. We are so happy with them. Thankfully, we didn't have to use it as much, but We pay about $120 for the whole family. We will provide the link for safety wing down below, so if you're interested, just go and check it out. Next question is from She Sad Skin. How to get your kids to adjust to being in different places, time zones, and all the sightseeing?
You know, it's tough. Obviously, with like changing time zones, they can get tough. Sometimes kids are up in the middle of the night while they're switching. I'd say probably the most important thing, at least from what I've seen, is that you just give them some of their own space and personal items. So whether it's a stuffed animal or a blanket, maybe a familiar, like for instance, even video game, just something that's a little piece of home, which is almost like their constant while everything is kind of swirling around them. I'd say that's the most important thing, hands down.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Next question is from Simon Payton. Are you going to be posting on Patreon? And I just want to say that we actually have a first Patreon. We are so surprised because we didn't even promote it. We never told anybody. So thank you so much to our Patreon, Simon. And yes, we start to post on Patreon. We just did our first post. And we will try to be a little bit more active than we were before because now we have a reason to be. So yes, we will continue. So if you want to be part of our Patreon family and see a little bit more of us, please join us. We will provide the link down below and you guys can check it out. Zantush Rodrigo is asking, I'd like to know about Sri Lanka, favorite place, favorite fruit, favorite place, anything.
In Sri Lanka.
In Sri Lanka.
Favorite food?
Favorite food.
Favorite place?
Oh, Sri Lankan breakfast was so good.
Yeah,
I
that was
love Sri
amazing.
Lankan breakfast. It's so good.
Yeah,
I miss that
thank
food so much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. It's spicy and it's good.
Is there any place in Sri Lanka that you guys loved?
I like Ayana Sea.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
fun, huh?
I also loved Ayana Sea. Una Matuna!
Una Matuna,
Say it loud,
yes.
say it loud.
I loved Una Matuna.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
There's so many dogs there rolling on the beach.
Surprise!
For me, I think hands down it's got to be Ambuluawa Tower. I mean, climbing up that thing is an absolutely unforgettable experience. I know we portrayed how shaken we were in the video. At least I think we portrayed it well. I'm not joking. We were literally walking later that day and still shooting, and our legs were still trembling from what we had done almost like 12 hours earlier. That was so, but it was an absolutely incredible, and I mean, just you'll never forget it, like experience.
Yeah. That was so awesome.
Yeah.
And for me, it would be Ella. I really loved Ella. It's something special about that place. It's set in the whole setting in the mountains, beautiful views. I fell in love with that place. Yeah. So we love Sri Lanka so much. Next question is from Betty White, and she's asking, how is the situation in Europe affecting you guys? Are you concerned?
She means Ukraine
Yeah.
and Russia.
We're actually staying in a country that's only a few countries away from Ukraine, and yeah, it's pretty unsettling to be honest, because you don't really know what's going to happen, and since we are so close, we need to be ready for anything that's going to happen in the future. So it's been heartbreaking to watch as the rest of the world is watching, and
You know, there was a point when we were in Romania that we were right at the border of Ukraine, like no exaggeration. If you saw our Romania video where we went to a special cemetery that had these really kind of funny, like almost like cartoons or drawings on them and these poems, driving along the road to get there, literally Ukraine was right there, and we could look right into it. We could see some of the interesting like Eastern Orthodox churches that are famous from there, because we've never been. But at that time, we actually couldn't get across the border, and we were saying, oh, wow, how nice it would be to go. So granted, this situation is obviously affecting people much more than it's affecting us. So we don't want to try to pretend that, that this is hitting us home as much as other people, because other people are in a much more serious situation. So we are here. I mean, it's kind of nearby, but where we are for now anyways, we're okay. So we just worry about others instead. And, hopefully at some point we'll actually get a chance to go to Ukraine and finally visit.
yeah, we are hoping that this is going to result fast, and we are hoping for the best. And
That's it. We're just like you guys with that one.
final question. Good job, Mia.
Question.
And the final question is, everybody wants to know, how long are you guys gonna travel? We get this question the most, so...
I think once you're a traveler, you're always a traveler. So granted, I don't know if we'll do as hardcore of a pace as like what we did on the Balkan road trip, because that was too much. That was how many countries? 12?
Yeah, something like that.
It's like
11,
12 countries in only a matter of a month and a half. So that was probably a little too intense for us.
We are open to anything and everything, and with us, you really don't know. So, and we are done!